Hey, what's up, guys? It's the dawn of Vanlife here with Curious Karli. And we are now out here at the RTR site, the regular RTR, the women's RTR. This was kind of the last day, but it was mostly just a day people were moving out and moving over. There was only like a closing circle and then like...
Which I heard went really well. I just got a text from one of the ladies and she said it was a really good closing circle.
Yeah, it was a really nice close to the event, sort of a reminder of why we were there, but like pretty much yesterday was like the last like day that stuff
was
happened.
Yeah.
And today was just sort of our goodbye to the event, as it were. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna do a little bit of a reflection on that event. What was good, what was not so good. We're not gonna use negative words like bad, just not so good.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, how did you feel? This is their first official event, and so the organization, it was like extremely spread out. I mean,
yeah.
What? RTR is packed in like sardines, and at the women's RTR, you had to like walk a mile to get like maybe a mile and a half to get to main camp. I'm in health camp because art camp's full, and yeah, it was just like so spread out.
And I will say the micro camps initially getting there were confusing. Yes. Like after I'd been there a while, I kind of got it, but like the micro camps were, so you're at the women's RTR, there was a rainbow camp, an art camp, a health camp, a nature camp,
quiet camp.
There was a quiet camp,
allied camp.
There was an allied camp. And I don't mind the micro camps, but they didn't happen organically. They were trying to like force us into it. And I think just getting there and trying to figure out the lay of the land, it was kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'd say it was confusing.
Yeah.
But it was just, maybe they expected more people. And so then it would be worth to have all the extra space.
How early did you get there?
I was there, I think, Thursday.
Okay.
And then I went into town on Friday and came back, and we kind of formed our group. I was the first one in for my camp, and I was like, I told everybody, I'm in art camp. I'm going to be in art camp. I go to art camp, and it's like, it should be, now knowing, it should be the biggest area. It should be the biggest area because everybody wants to be in art camp. They're like, that's the funnest sounding one. Health camp? Who wants a quiet camp? Like, nature camp is like 3 miles
Nature's
away.
far away. It's like...
Oh my gosh, and I could see there was the one person in nature camp.
So,
for you, how did you feel about it? This is your first time in the desert at a van gathering, and it's women.
Well, it was like, the initial finding a place to park was kind of confusing. Honestly, we parked in parking overnight. And then in the morning, we actually like went out because it had gotten dark and they were telling us about the neighborhoods and showing us these maps. But after you've been driving for hours, you're like, where can I stop? Like, where can I stop?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So, yeah, but like as the days went on, it became more clear. And I think you said in one of your videos that you need to remind yourself at these events that you can move, like you're on wheels, like if you're like
move your wheel estate around to the whatever neighborhood you need it to be in.
Wheel estate, I like that.
Yeah.
So like I think it sorted itself out after a couple days and the camps were a little bit more clear, and you know, you didn't have to, like for me, I'm a woman, I'm also queer. Rainbow. I'm also an artist. Art camp, rainbow camp.
Yeah. And you're not the first person to think that. They were like, even in the groups beforehand, they were like, well, I'm a smoker. I like campfires. I sometimes wear lotion, and I have a dog, and I like nature, but sometimes I play with crayons. Like, where do I fit in?
There was a pets area too.
Yeah, there was I think, and that was very far away. That pets was across from Allied, and Allied was you had to walk down the main road, like the paved road, to get to. So,
and I think most people with pets didn't go anywhere near that pet camp.
Because, like, every other person has a pet. Like,
yeah.
Because women, feel they all want pets with them.
Yeah. I mean, and also solo travelers really like pets because you don't have any company. And so, like, every once in a while, everybody wants someone. And so, like, solo travelers really have pets a lot. I mean, couples too. I don't want the obligation of feeding something besides me.
I can barely take care of myself. I don't need to, like, I don't want to think about, I want to go into a library for 6 hours and then
not worry about the dog being overheated in
the
car.
Or feeding it or letting it out or those things. And
yeah, and when you come to events like this, you get 20 dogs, so
yeah, you can just pet everybody else's dog.
Exactly. Yeah, I bet you they'll even let you steal it for a while. Like, can I walk your dog?
Well, yeah, and there's most dogs out here are extremely friendly.
Yeah. I bet Cody was great.
Yeah, Bob's dog was great. So what classes did you go to?
Okay, so the first day they kind of had the seminars. Okay, so basically there was this flag system for the WRTR. Mm-hmm. There were these numbered flags, and there were classes assigned to them, and there were like 30 to 40 of them the first day.
There was 30 flags.
Yeah.
And then so there was orientation, and after orientation you could go sign up. They had 150 spots to do classes. 150, and this event is only 5 days long. So holy crap. And so,
as a newbie, I kind of honestly that first day I felt shortchanged because there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to know, and I was constricted to these 20-minute sessions, and then like running to the next 20-minute session.
And flag 1 and flag 30 were a mile apart.
And what I wanted to go to was at like flag 20 something, flag 10, and flag 1. Those were my in-game cuts. And yeah, once I finished the flag at flag 20, whatever it was, I don't know, 27, 28, something like that, I was like, oh my god, we gotta make it to flag 10. And it kind of already started at that point. And yeah, I think it was almost too much at one time, and especially for somebody new, somebody who's never camped, someone who's never been to any RTR before RTR or women's RTR. It was difficult to feel like I had time to get all the information that I wanted to get.
And I was teaching one of them. I was at flag 24, and I did cheap cooking for 1, and so I missed my first session because I was driving in. I was like, crap, it's so late. And so I got there at like exactly 2:20. They were blowing the whistle when I drove in to do the first change. And then the second session, I had one lady, so I did a really good one-on-one with her. And it was nice because I had no prep at all. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just said I would like to talk about this topic because I know about it. And then so my third session ended up being more like probably closer to 30 minutes, and because people just kept filtering in. It was like, did all the other seminars stop because I'm having like random people just come? I'm like I've already said my spiel twice, and I have people coming over like it's brand new, and I'm like, I have no idea what time it is. But it was really good, and I had a lot of good questions, and everybody was eager to learn. So I loved that. I loved cheap cooking for 1.
I did love sort of how the sessions went. The first one was finding a job on the road. I kind of know what I want to do, but I just wanted to just hear what that session had to say, because that's one of my big goals for 2019 is having jobs that'll get me to actually travel as opposed to having to stay in one place. Mm-hmm. So I went to that one. The second one I went to was using campsites.net, which was good, except there were women in it who didn't know what hyperlinks were. As we know, this community is older women. Free campsites.net.
Yes, it's a very good website. Yeah. Totally use it. I use it all the time.
So that one was good, except for those moments it slowed down. But, that's just me being a nerdy jerk. And then the last one I went to, I was actually choosing between your class and cooking without refrigeration. And the only thing I didn't like is it wasn't really about cooking without refrigeration. It was about how to wrap your cooler in Reflectix, which I already saw on YouTube. So
well, interesting, because I didn't know there was that class, cooking without refrigeration, because that was literally what my class was saying, because I cook without refrigeration.
Yeah, and that's what I was more interested in. It's like, what is the meal prep sort of that you go through when you aren't doing a refrigerator? But that wasn't exactly precisely. She did talk about shopping, but she was mostly talking about shopping specifically for refrigerated items and then how to take care of those items, like once you get them back to your rig, which mostly involved wrapping a cooler. And she went over a bunch of stuff that didn't have to be refrigerated. But it was stuff, honestly, I'd already heard on YouTube, and I was more interested in, like, people who are living without refrigeration. How are they actually preparing meals?
What are you making? And that's what I went over.
See, I should have went to your class.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. What I'm eating.
I went to the wrong class.
Well, it's okay. I'll make a video about it.
Well, luckily I've met you now, so I can just bother you and just be like,
talk to me about it.
So yeah, the next couple days were really confusing though about what was being offered, and I know they were doing like those mentoring things.
Well, then the first 2:00 thing was that you had 20-minute sessions, 20-minute sessions, and you were supposed to rotate. And so each flag did the same session 3 times.
Yeah.
And then the next day at 10 in the morning, you could go back to that whatever flag you wanted to and do a Q&A session. But for me, like I didn't show up at my flag because I had already done the Q&A at the previous day. But then there was also Meet Bob at 10 a.m.
Exactly.
There was Go Talk to Forrest about vehicle
prep. There
prep.
was a conflict there. And also they didn't list it. So if you didn't go to the circle in the morning and hear about it, you didn't even get the reminder that the Bob thing and the car maintenance thing was happening because they didn't post it anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you had to have been to the first orientation to hear about that.
Yep.
And then at 2 that day, so you could sign up for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, doing 10 and 2 p.m. Things at flags. So you pick a flag and you're like, I would talk Tahitian and hula. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be at flag 24 and here's my email and whatever, and I'll teach Tahitian. So I went there at 2 p.m. and people came and walked up, but there was 30 other things or 29 other things happening at other flags at the same time. So,
and they also didn't get the information out early, so it's like you had to get up in the morning with this intent, like, because there wasn't like a schedule.
Well, the porta potties.
Oh yeah, the porta potty.
The porta potties.
The porta potty bulletin board.
That was so great. It was like, these are the only things that we will have stationed around are these porta potties, so you can go smell
the porta potty while you look and see what events are happening.
Yeah. That was funny. I mean, I went over and took pictures. It was totally fine, but it was just, the whole concept was funny.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you would have had to hike the 1.5 miles up to the main camp where there's the trailer.
Yeah.
And the sign-ins. But I did go on the website, I think on Saturday or Sunday, and they had updated it so that all the events for Sunday and Monday were on there. But yeah, I didn't.
But also the site had a known challenging cell signal. So a lot of people were depending on sort of paper reporting at that point.
Exactly.
Because like AT&T was horrible and everything else was also sketchy.
Yeah, I would have to, at my camp I didn't have cell service, or a spotty. I didn't have any internet, so I went up to where the parking is, which the parking lane was super long, and then I parked up there, and that's when I could get internet. So
like it was really difficult to use the website as a resource because I know a lot of people had half a signal or sketchy signal, and so being able to use that as a resource to supplement sort of going to the porta potty and looking at the porta potty poster. And I got it. Like, they didn't have that many vertical surfaces, but if I was going to give them a suggestion for next year is like, think about sort of a portable surface you can put somewhere that's not the porta potty.
And who knows if they'll use the same location.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going for a different permit next year, and they're doing a bunch of things already that, you know, they started the orientation saying this is already what we're doing for next year. So it's super great. It's what happens with these events. But this, the women's RTR was 10 times more planned out with signs and parking here and going there, and this is like a map. It's 10 times more organized than what the RTR has been the last few years, where you just show up and they point, that's where main camp's gonna be, and that's all you know.
If you want to make noise, go over there with your generators. Otherwise, you can camp here.
We're just like pointing. He's like, I go down the road a little bit more. But you know, at the women's RTR, they like walk up to your rig with this map. Where do you want to camp? I'm like,
what kind of world do you want to be in? Nature, health? I still don't know what health camp is for.
Apparently, we were supposed to be wanting to be in the healthy lifestyle, and I was like,
Okay. Like, see, that could have applied to me. I want it. It's January. Everybody wants to. It's January. Every New Year's resolution ever.
Yes, January. Everybody needs to be in health camp because
Exactly.
we're all getting those gym memberships.
Except we all have them because we need to shower.
That's true.
But we're going to actually exercise with them now.
Yes.
That's the change.
I'm going to actually use my gym membership to work out. New Year's resolution.
Until February when I just start using the shower again.
Exactly. I need to get one sweat drop coming before I go into that shower.
But yeah, like, the organization, I'm going to say I appreciate it because I know how difficult it is to organize events. So I don't want this to be a rip down, but I think, like, there's things that think about for next year as far as, like, the point where it started to feel sort of over micromanaged, and maybe they can pull back. And definitely, I think, some way of pre-planning the session so you kind of go in knowing.
Yeah, a little bit more of, like, after the orientation, if you didn't go to orientation, you didn't know you could sign up as a mentor to teach a class.
Yep.
But also, weather was a little defeating because it did rain one day. So not too many people, like, I knew that Saturday and Sunday were just going to be crappy weather. So I didn't really want to go to anything.
Yeah.
And the one class that I did go to yesterday morning was planning your future and manifesting. And I only went because the other girls in my camp were, like, bound and determined to go to it. And I was like, well, I'm up. It's 10. I might as well walk over. And it ended up being a really good session. I loved it. I still have the notes from it. Becky needs to get them from me. But that was super cool. And I really needed that, like, kickstart to the 2019 year. And, you know, I may be in health camp, but, like, I still have all these other goals. And so that was really cool. And what was your favorite session?
I mean, it was less the session and more that the energy was overall positive. Like, there was another lady who was living in a Toyota Sienna, and she got, like, so excited that I was in a Sienna too.
Oh, nice.
And she used this weed sprayer to like, clean her dishes, and she showed me what she did, and she gave me a free weed sprayer. And it actually works great. It's only, like, this big, and then you pump it, and it gives you, like, a stream of water, and I just mix a little, like, cleaner in that with the water, and boom, it's, like, this great cleaner. So it was moments like that I really liked, is like people really jumping in to, like, teach you things when you're like, oh, I'm new, I've never done this before, and, like, everybody was just super nice and super helpful, and the energy was great. I would say, like, that was really positive to me. And also, of course, as a YouTube nerd, meeting YouTubers.
Yes. It's great to meet people. Like, my rig's not super noticeable, and I don't usually park where people can see me. So it's usually I'm walking around and people are like, oh my god, and I'm like, hi, you want a sticker?
I got recognized once.
You did?
Well, twice technically if you count Gus and a bus, but we're also both YouTubers, so I consider that different. But, like, yeah, there was a woman who came
somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen him. He's right by the pink bus, the faith bus, whatever the heck it's
I need to walk down there.
Yeah.
Any comments?
But yeah, this woman who came up to Crystal Vanner's camp was like, "Are you the Dawn of Vanlife?" And I'm like, "Yes." And it's like I have, like, you know, a little over 200 subscribers at this point, but still, it's like it's not 5,000. So
it's been a while.
Yeah, I know you've been doing this for a while, but, like, you know, just feeling like I was a tiny micro YouTuber and, like, somebody actually going, "Are you the Dawn of Vanlife?" So let's wrap this up.
Okay.
So if you haven't watched her channel, you should, because it's an awesome channel with a lot of information. Her name is Curious Karli on YouTube, and it should be printed at the bottom of the screen somewhere. I'll stick it somewhere over here. I'm, like, blocking her whole face with my hand right now. But anyway, Curious Karli, look her up. Really great YouTube channel, wealth of information, and thank you so much for doing this video.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
All right. Peace.
Bye.